Hey!
You snooze, you lose.
What?
Still a sandwich now.
You suck!
Oh my God! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, of course, I am your favorite random man, Future King of YouTube. Terrence Woods in the building today, and how you guys doing? So, guys, welcome to another reaction to video. I know I've been doing a lot of reaction to stuff out there lately. If you guys didn't get a chance, I actually hit my blue screen. You get a chance, please check out my the Suicide Squad reaction to video that's out now. Check it out. Me, Fireboy, and Tom, we all had a good time doing that video. So the reason I'm redoing this video is because the one I previously recorded, I went too much of a rant, and the video went way over 30 minutes. So what I'm gonna try to do is pretty much point out things I didn't like, and hopefully not be too much in a rant to talk about. But overall, with this movie, is it a love letter to the fans? Yes and no. I mean, to me, it's cool that we going back to Raccoon City. It's cool we're getting somewhat of an origin story with some of these characters. I dig that idea. I think the idea is a great idea. But what I don't like is the hodgepodge of putting the first Resident Evil story and Resident Evil 2 story, putting it in together and making it try to make that coexist. Because there's some scenes where there's a scene where Chris and Claire are at odds with one another, and when Claire come back to Raccoon City to tell Chris about Umbrella, but that's not the case. But the case is, those you don't know, in Resident Evil 2 lore, Claire came back to Raccoon City to find Chris, but in Resident Evil 1 lore, you know, like Chris don't know nothing about Umbrella until after the events of 1. And so now here we are, you know, with this movie. It's like they're at odds at one another because of Umbrella, because Claire leaves Umbrella because William Birkin tried to experiment on Claire, and Claire ran away from Raccoon City. This will put Claire and Chris at odds with one another because Chris knows William Birkin, and it's like, oh, like, and at one point he told Claire that Birkin and Umbrella was more like a family to him than Claire was when Claire left. And again, to my buddy Ultra Fatality, we was supposed to do this together, but we might do this in the podcast, so that way we can do more with it. Because I'm going to do my best not to make this a long reaction to video. So it really bothered me, guys. It's like, really? And then like Chris don't know nothing about William Birkin. I guess for the sake of story it was, because even at the Raccoon City orphanage, like Chris and Claire, I believe they have lost their parents, but I don't think they was in the orphanage. But yeah, I'm not gonna go too much tit for tat here. But the thing is, what bothered me was, why in the world was Chris, like, why Claire know Lisa Travers? And I'm like, it didn't make sense. And the one thing I will say about the movie when I said it, and please watch my reaction to the Resident Evil character trailers, because a lot of stuff in there I talked about and I called it. I was like, boom! I watched the movie. I was in the theater like this, called it. So I was like, oh, it really bothered me, because the one thing I did say when I talked about when I did that reaction to video, I said this movie's gonna lack focus, and I feel like, I really feel like that's what's gonna really mess it up for me. And I was like, and I called it. But there are some good scenes, like we got a lot of we had a lot of Easter egg scenes in there, which was good. But so, you know, like they got the opening scenes from the Resident 2 remake where the truck driver hits the zombified lady, the dog bites the truck driver. He become infected, and he end up crashing towards the gate of to the Raccoon police department, stuff like that. But I want to go back talking to about the characters right quick. And one thing, and I always say this, and I'm always gonna stick to my guns with this. I get what some people like. Why this character is not black, why this character is not white, this, that, and the other. And I get it. So when the character of Jill, cause I really want to talk about Jill, because Jill and Carl is the two people I want to talk about. Like Chris Wesker, Chris Wesker and Claire, I'm kind of okay with. And I'll talk about. I'm gonna get more into it a little bit later. But the one thing, I'm gonna start with Jill first. Like, I get it. I always say, like, as long as you do this character justice, then I'm okay. Case in point, let's look at Zendaya as Mary Jane. Yes, I'm calling her Mary Jane, it's not Michelle. Moving on. But everybody's in an uproar saying like, "Oh, you making Mary Jane black?" I was like, as long as she can play the character and have that feistiness about what makes Mary Jane, then I'm okay with that. Now, going back to Welcome to Raccoon City, my thing is with Jill. There's like, there's Resident Evil 1 Jill where I feel like she's a little bit more what's the word I want to say? I guess kind of I don't want to say reserved, but I feel like she's more what's the word? Composed, I guess. I'm trying to find a word to say that, because you look at the events what happened in Resident Evil 1, yeah, like it was fearful. Like they really got fear, but it really messed Jill up when you go to Resident Evil 3 in the game, like the original one, original Resident Evil 3. She was really scared in a sense, like am I actually going to get out of the city? I'm not saying she wasn't confident, but it was like kind of a what's the word I want to say? I think 3 kind of do it better, but not too much. But remake of 3. But I feel like it was a build up character for her. But with this Jill, I don't know, man. I kind of want to say trigger happy, but it's just like, I don't know. It's like at one, like, I don't know, man. Her portrayal of Jill wasn't like, I feel like this version of Jill is a remake of Resident Evil 3 Jill. That's what it feels like to me. It's like I wasn't with this Jill. That's really what I say. And because at one point in the diner scene, and yes, she said the most cringiest line when she took the sandwich from Wesker. Oh, it's a Jill sandwich now. Oh my god, the cringe. I'm like, you might as well have Barry. You might as well have Barry saying you almost became a Jill sandwich. But it didn't work. And then another thing, sticking with Jill, for example, Jill has a thing for Wesker. Now, those of y'all know their Resident Evil lore. Like, Jill's really close with Chris, not with Wesker. And so it's like that kind of bothers me a little bit. That reason how I know that, because in the little diner scene with Leon and some of the with Leon, who's the rookie cop, of course, and with Jill, Wesker, and I want to say, I can't remember, Richards, I want to say, he ended up, how can I say, like, so he like they kind of goof around, mess with Leon, and when Jill and Wesker was leaving the diner after Leon got picked on by some other cops. Leon and Jill had a little. Leon was trying to flirt with Jill a little bit, but the waitress said, so it's like easy there, cowboy, wherever she said, and she was like, she got eyes for the big guy. I was like, called it. So I wasn't that loud, but at the same point, I'm like, when I saw the character trailer, I'm like, why is Jill got a thing for Wesker? And then moving up here a little bit more, like at one point they see like the little zombie crow. Jill shoots the crow, and Wes like, Valentine, what you doing? And Chris like, I'm gonna confiscate that. I'm like, really? Then when they get into the mansion, and I gotta say the mansion, I love how the mansion look. I wish we had more time in the mansion, but I feel like we didn't get that much time in the mansion. But Chris like, hey, we gotta split up, going to twos. Jill's like, I'm going with Wesker. what? Excuse you? Excuse me? I'm like, really? Because for me, it was like, if you're going to tell that type of story, why would what messed up Chris and Jill's relationship? Like, what split them apart? Because even in the beginning scenes where Claire finally gets to Chris's house, he saw a picture of Jill Wesker and Jill Wesker and Chris, excuse me, and he ended up saying like, "So sorry, big brother, you're never gonna get her." I'm like, whoa, what? Like, I wish they would dive deep in why there was a rift in between Chris and Jill. And they never explained that. Like, if you're gonna tell a story like that, I would love to know what made that great. Okay, so that's enough for like. Okay, like one scene. Okay, I'm saying I got one thing to say about Jill. Then we'll move on to Leon. But the scene where Wes get this PDA or PDF system. I don't know what it's called, but whatever it was. Like the helicopter crash and they get Wes find about the secret passway. Talk about like some like. This I want to say the Arclay Mansion. I hope I'm saying it right. At the Arclay Mansion, where like what is in the West, like, I want to go this way, but just like, no, we gotta get everybody else. But West was like, bump it, I'm gone. West was like, I'm dipping, I'm out of here. So and Jill felt betrayed. I mean, I was like, but is it a betrayal of a broken heart? You know what I'm saying? Because like I don't really understand. Like, if you're going to tell a story like that, give us details. Don't just say, "Oh, Jill got a thing for Wesker." Why does she have a thing? What happened between Chris and Jill that have them riff with one another? So going off to Leon now. Okay, the one thing I said in that video in the character trailer, the Dirty said we want a Leon, but we don't want that type of Leon. We want he want to be more of a jokester type. I see why they made him like that, because Leon got picked on a lot. even with the scene where they're all in the office and Irons is like so Leon's like, listen, Kennedy, what are you doing here? You say everybody come eat. Not you, Kennedy. He's like, oh, I mean, he went off, and it was, to me, one of the most funniest scenes I seen. I like that's one of the enjoyable scenes I hate. I mean, I like, excuse me, but I feel like he's more of a Carlos than a Leon. I feel like Leon isn't like what can I say? They made him reluctant. But I feel like he wasn't that reluctant in the original story or in the remake. I feel like I feel like with him and Claire, they got put into a situation where they don't know how or what to do, and I feel like that was more of a. I feel like that was more genuine to me, and it's like, all right, you know, it was, I don't know, man. It just with Leon and Jill, it just really didn't sit right. Then the one thing I was happy I was wrong about was we got Sherry and we got Ada. More on that a little bit later with Ada. And you know, I was geeked to see Sherry in this movie because we never seen her in the big screen. The problem was Sherry was just there, like with her mom. Like, those know the original lore for Resident Evil, Birkin. Yeah, he mutated himself to stop Umbrella from taking his light squirt, which is I want to say the T virus one. Then at the same time, Sherry's mom wasn't really around at all. Okay, y'all follow me? I hope y'all follow me here. Good. I hope y'all with me here. So Sherry was just there to be there. There was no plot with her at all, nothing whatsoever. She was just there. She was just there, and that really kind of bothered me with that. I'm like, what was the point of having Sherry there? You know what I mean? Like, it didn't make sense to me. Like, was it cool to see William Birkin there? Yeah, it really was. I wish they did a character trailer on William Birkin, but I see why they did it, because he was like maybe in. He was I say more than 4 scenes, but it wasn't really significant scenes to me. If I want to say that, because again, remember with Sherry has a really good, close bond with Leon and Claire, but all that been changed when Lisa Trevor was involved, and you got her and Claire having somewhat of a bond. So you get one because I know I see what they did with Lisa Travers because they wanted to I guess a redemption arc or give us more of that. So like that's why I feel like that was going with that. But at the same token, it just to me it didn't work. I see why they did it, but it didn't work. So if that's making sense to anybody. Again, like I said, like even I'm gonna say some of the Easter eggs. I'm kind of gonna wrap this up because, like I said, when me and Ultra do a podcast about this, I think I can go a little bit more detail into this because I really don't want this to be a long rant. You really want me to rant? I'm gonna rant in that podcast video. I'm gonna let you know that right now. But like some of the Easter eggs, like they had the stuffed alligator from Resident Evil 7. They had the bird cage from Resident Evil 7. Claire's, I know there's more Easter eggs, but Claire's jacket from Remake 2, I enjoyed that. I feel like I'm missing something else. It was another call out. Another Easter egg. Oh, the Alexandria twins. I hope I said their name right. Like again, when I told my buddy Arthur Fatality, it was cool to see him there. We basically believe that we may get either a this is what I think we may possibly get. Might get a Code Veronica movie. I think it could be good. I think we may get a Resident Evil 5. I'm gonna tell you why I think we might get a version of Resident Evil 5 in a minute or soon. So like it was cool to see that. But with my buddy Arthur, and he made sense. Like, why show a clip of them there? It like you don't really see them until you get to actually the Code Veronica game, and it makes sense. Like it makes sense. I think it's a cool Easter egg to have. I'm sorry, the ugly looking doll from Remake from Resident Evil 2, and the keys. The keys was a good call out too, and I like that as well. I've heard there's more Easter eggs, but going back to what my buddy Archer was saying, he was saying like it shouldn't have to be like that. I get it what he's saying because again, the one thing, to me it's a good Easter egg, but I get what he's saying. Like, if you're talking about Welcome to Raccoon City, you should stay focused on the events that happen in Raccoon City, which is the first, second, and third Resident Evil games, which again makes perfectly good sense. And yes, it was good to have these type of Easter eggs out there. Again, I believe what hindered this is the lack of focus. And when we get to the third and final act of the movie, it's like steamrolling. I'm burping a lot. I got any water left in here? I don't. I drank all my water before I start recording. But I really think that's what kind of hindered what messes that up a little bit, because I feel like if you just focus on one movie, I think you've been all right. But before I forget, let's talk about the because I think at the end of the movie, they show Sherry, Jill, Chris, Leon, and Claire walking out the tunnel where they escaped Raccoon City at. And so then at the post-end credit scenes, you see Wesker getting out. Yes, Jill shot Wesker, by the way. And like Wesker's like, oh, I messed up. What's that? I messed up, Valentine. I messed up. You tell Chris, like, Chris, I'm sorry. I'm like, I didn't feel it. I think that's more of the anger about it. I didn't really feel that. But like Wesker, Ada's like, hey, we experiment. We gave you a shot. We experimented on you. Here, like say, I can't see nothing. This part of the experiment we gave you, Wesker. She gave her the iconic glasses, and then bam, we said, who are you? My name is. Like, she didn't say her name, but she had the trench coat from RE2 remake. So it was Ada. I was like, yo, we got Ada, and it was like Ada. I was excited. Then there's my girl. I want to say, is it Bing Ling Ling? I want to say that's her. I could be saying her name wrong. From the fifth Resident Evil movie that Paul S.W. made. She was okay, but she wasn't Ada. You know what I mean? But speaking of Paul W. Anderson, I cannot escape this man. I can't. I can't. Because when I found out that he's one of the executive producers of this movie, I was like, oh, okay. No wonder some of these characters kind of look like the characters because of him. I was like, man, look. I gave you a pass on the first Resident Evil movie. I gave you a pass. But the other movies, no. And now you're here again. So, I really thought they didn't want. I really thought Capcom didn't want him to be involved after what happened with the last 5 Resident Evil movies. I said 5 because the first Resident Evil was good in my eyes. Then with Monster Hunter, I don't think that didn't go nowhere either. So, I don't know, man. Like again, me and my buddy Arthur said this so many different times. Here's the guy. He does I don't care what no one said. The best video game adaptation movie that I have seen is the 90s Mortal Kombat that he directed and he made, and it was good for a PG-13 movie. As a game that's rated M, and for him to do a great job with that, I love it. It's great. But when he did the other Resident Evil movies, it's garbage. I hate it. Like with Welcome to Raccoon City, I don't hate it, but don't go into theaters and watch this. You guys wait for Blu-ray or wait for the stream, because I'm being honest, guys. You know, I enjoyed some of the Easter eggs that they had, but at the same time, it's not worth the money. It's not, and I'm sad to say that, because there were some scenes that I enjoyed, some good scenes, even with I said with Chief Irons going off on Leon, and then like some of the Chief Irons scenes was funny to me. He wasn't that how can I say how I feel about Chief Irons? Chief Irons, he wasn't that. He was a douchebag, but he wasn't as bad as he was in the original 2 and 2 remake of Resident Evil 2. So he was like somewhat of a hero in this film, and I was like, was I disappointed? But I feel like watching his scenes made up for it. So it was cool for me. What would I have done to make this movie better? To be perfectly honest, you focus on one movie. Focus on one game. Focus on one. Tell the story right. And then, cause God, I would not see the Tyrant or see how Chris Jill or have Barry in there dealing with Lisa Travis and Wesker's portrayal. Then you can focus on 2. Then I think you would have done a better movie to tell a better story with that. But we didn't get that. Again, is it a bad movie? It's not, but it's really, like I said, I really had the bar so low. It's like you know how people do the like little limbo and the pole was low. It's lower than that. It's like close to the equator low. That's how low it is. But honestly, guys, the one thing I would say what I love about the movie, Claire passable, Robbie Amell as Chris, he looks like him. I think it's that. Matter of fact, that's why the movie did good. That's why the characters like the characters, because Paul's Larry Anderson, I'll give you so much credit, man, because you got at least you got the characters looking like the characters. Like in Resident Evil Apocalypse, at least you had Jill looking like Jill, and she looked phenomenal. This Jill, I don't know what this Jill, but yeah, guys. So that's how I really feel about this movie. It's not bad. It's meh. But if you just focus on one game, some sort of one game, you would have went somewhere a whole lot better. So that's all I'm gonna say with that, and we're gonna wrap this up here. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, come to the right side. We do have those cookies, guys. Hashtag me Corey is Kinch and all the other great stuff. We do have the but guys, check out my reaction to trailer. My reaction to the character trailer of Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. You guys look at that, and also check out I did a review for all 6 Resident Evil movies. So you guys check that out. This probably might be in the description box or at the end credits of this, where it is, guys. Again, this like if I had to grade this movie, is honestly, guys, I'm getting a 5. You're being 5 because I'm being generous with it, because it could have was some scenes of light, but it could have done so much better. But anyways, guys, I love you so much. Thank y'all again. And I ain't do that much ranting. Cool. But we are doing a podcast, and like I said, guys, the Suicide Squad trailer is out. I'm gonna have my next Cowboy Bebop reaction to should be out soon. And don't worry, the Let's Plays are coming back. I just want to get these reviews done because it's been a while since I've done them. Love you guys, deuces, and please, I'm gonna say it again. Please, you guys stay random. I will see you all. I'm saying it again. I'll see you all in the next video. I love you. See y'all in the next one.
Sweater too, I'ma put her right on.